when the opportunity has arisen, he has answered law enforcement surveys that he's for collective bargaining for law enforcement. Now, if you think for 1 minute that everybody on the left side of the spectrum on that issue is going to say, no, we'll just do it for the police and then we'll all be done. Does anybody here believe that is their idea? Well, I'll tell you what, if you want to think about that, you can go look at his donor report from last month, where the AFL-CIO is donating. The SEIU, the worst, most aggressive union in America, is directly donating to my opponent. You go to their website, and they tell you they want to end the right to work. That's the goal. You combine that with my opponent's 100% voting record with the AFL-CIO and my 0%, I haven't done as well, with the AFL-CIO, and you know where he's going. First of all, he's not going to answer questions about it if he can help it. He went through one debate with me and he wouldn't answer the questions. But how can he go 3.5 more months? We'll see. But I need you all to share all of that with the people in your churches and your communities. They need to know that he's flip-flopping on the marriage amendment. The Attorney General is the only office that matters for the marriage amendment anymore. Everybody else did their job. Now when somebody comes in from Iowa and challenges it, it's up to the Attorney General's office, and we have some of their folks here, actually, proud to say. It's up to them to decide to defend it and then to do it. In California, their Attorney General, the never-boring Jerry Brown, has decided he will not defend California's marriage amendment. And if he believes, sincerely believes, that it is not consistent, it's not constitutional under the federal Constitution, well then that decision is entirely consistent with his responsibilities as the Attorney General. I will tell you, I wouldn't have worked as hard for it if I thought it wasn't constitutional under the federal Constitution. I fought to get it. I was one of 2 legislators in Northern Virginia out publicly campaigning for it. Not a politically correct place to be campaigning for the marriage amendment, I'll tell you. And of course, fighting all the way through their election day. My opponent was flip-flopping on it and trying to get people to vote against it. Now, most people, when they go hire a lawyer, they want to hire someone who will fight for them. So, do you want someone who is always there with you, or someone who voted against the position you want to defend? If that issue is important to you, there's one candidate in this race, and it's the only office that matters for the survival of the marriage amendment, because that case is coming. That case is coming, and it is very likely to come under the tenure of the next Attorney General. So, there's a lot of issues there. Life, I'm for it, he's against it, so to speak. But all of those stack up. Property rights, Second Amendment, 10th Amendment, being business friendly. He's going to masquerade as business friendly. Tell people about where he is on right to work. Tell them how important that is to Virginia. Tell them how important it is that we have an Attorney General ready to defend that against the impositions from Washington. If you all share that message, we will do well and hold this office. Now, let me not leave without talking about, real quick, law enforcement issues. Attorney General is always dealing with it. Now, it's very interesting, the strategy of my opponent, he was a prosecutor for 2 years out of law school. Now, many of you participated in our convention. I ran against a career prosecutor in John Brown. John was the real deal. Steve was a prosecutor for 2 years out of law school. And in our first debate, he got the death penalty wrong. Trigger Man, interestingly enough, and anybody can go see it on video. It's up there for everybody to see. And then we've had an exchange of letters on a Supreme Court case called Melendez, which is causing prosecutors problems all over Virginia. All over Virginia. And he sent me a letter where he identified a bill of his and said, why didn't you support my bill? It would have fixed the problem. Well, we pulled the bill. It had nothing to do with the problem. And it was about drunk driving. So he's 0 for 2 on criminal law. Just getting it right. Now, whatever you may want us all to do or not do, at least you should have an Attorney General who can get the law right. That's a good start. That's a good start. Please keep those things in mind. I'm going to continue the efforts that Bob McDonnell and Jerry Kilgore before him have put in, toughening up on gangs and internet predators. We have continual work to do there. In my Senate district, we have MS-13, the most violent gang in Virginia. I take that very seriously. And a lot of people in a lot of communities around Virginia take it very seriously. We will continue that effort. I've been the leader in the General Assembly on mental health issues. I'll continue that effort in the Attorney General's office, but not without your help in communicating to the people in this community. We need Chesterfield to lead the way for the Republican ticket. I'm telling you that for real. You can look back to 2008 and see what the margin was here, and it wasn't enough. It wasn't enough. We have other work to do in other places, but we need you all to do well. It's critically important. For those of you, Dan Dodds is here somewhere, guy who came with me. We brought some bumper stickers. And I'll kind of gauge you all in a reaction. I have a new way to do this. Is there anybody here with a bowling or McDonald's sticker on their car that does not want a Cuccinelli sticker? Please raise your hand. All right, so unless I hear any objections, Dan, if you wouldn't mind leading all these people out to the parking lot, you can just go ahead and put it on all their cars. So we'll save you all the trouble and be a lot more efficient about this. I'm running with a great ticket, including the House of Delegates candidates. We have more candidates, 86? How many? 84. All right, we have 84 Republican candidates running. And last cycle, we had 59, I think. Is that right? We have never had this many candidates, and I can tell you, getting all around Virginia, even in some very difficult districts, we have some great candidates. And as somebody running statewide for the first time, who's now very dependent on these folks to help us in their district, I am so pleased to be running with the entire ticket that I have the privilege of running with. It's a real honor, and it's a real benefit to me as a candidate who's not run statewide before. Bill and Bob have both done this before, and both won before. And, they're both doing an excellent job. They're great to run with, and I think that we have a great team here to work with on the Republican side. We have a lot to sell. We have a lot of issues to talk to the other side about, and they won't engage on them. So we should be on offense. They're scared. They're scared. Let's give them a reason. Thank you all very much. Thanks for your support.
Ladies and gentlemen, the next Attorney General from the Commonwealth of Virginia, Ken Cuccinelli. Following a long line of great attorneys general in Virginia. Well, thank you all, folks, for coming out tonight. I have a few thank yous before you go back to your ice cream. Of course, I want to thank, and I want you to join me in thanking our speakers tonight. Please join me in thanking those who spoke, especially our statewide candidate, Ken Cuccinelli, Sam Nixon from the House of Delegates, Kirk Cox from the House of Delegates, Lee Ware from the House of Delegates. And not having a racist here.